Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Two
What it
Fans in the
is, what it
Stand.
does.
All right, we are live again on a Wednesday, y'all. It is not a fluke, it is us. I
Already.
am your favorite armchair GM CJ.
And I am your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony. Come on, one time. Yeah.
All right, Tony, how you doing tonight, cuz?
Well, again, 6:05 a.m. in the morning for me. So, I'm bright eyed and bushy tail. You feel me?
I hear you, I hear you.
Got me a little tea right here, snacking on a little cashews. I'm all right. How you feeling, cuz?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Your boy is wore out, dog. I am tired. If I
I
haven't
hear
told
you.
anybody this, but I'm working on a shed outside for me and my wife, and she's going to do her stuff in her part of the shed, and I'm going to turn the back part of the shed into like a little podcast studio and stuff. So that's what I've been working on. And when I say your boy is tired, your boy is tired. But I'm here
Already. Already.
though.
What we
All
got
right.
good on the agenda for today?
Hey, well, we got something that I think all of Panther Nation would be really happy with, and that is our defensive quarter, defensive coordinator, excuse me, from last year, Ejiro Evero is back. Okay, so we are going
I
to run it back
believe.
with him again in 2024. Okay, and and me personally, I think this is a big deal, a big signing because if I'm not mistaken most of his staff, if not all of it, they're gonna retain him. So everybody's coming back on the defense side of the ball until they do something or say something otherwise. Okay.
Right,
But I
right.
think this is significant though. What about you, Tony?
I think it's significant too. We spoke about this a while back, and I said, when you have changes, throughout the organization, it would be good to have some type of consistency somewhere. Okay. So for the fact that on the defensive side of the ball that we bring our defensive coordinator back and pretty much all the position coaches, because when I checked the Panthers website last night, I believe it was, everybody that was there last year is basically back. So I think that helps with the continuity, the relationships that was started last year, the defensive side of the ball. We don't have to worry about switching defensive schemes again. So guys that started off, last year in the 3-4 scheme or the first time playing it, they don't have to worry about another scheme. It's that same scheme. So they got some familiarity, with the scheme coming back and with their position coaches. So I thought that was huge to have them back. Okay.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So let
What
me
about you?
ask
What
you.
would
Oh, okay. Well, I think it's big. I think it's big that he comes back. Um, now part of me I am not really sad, but I feel for him because he's tried to get a head coaching job for the past 2 years, and I think he's a good coach, and I always wish nothing but success on anybody out there trying to succeed in life. But I am happy that he is back, and I'm interested to see if the Panthers can improve on the defensive side of the ball this coming up season. And a lot of people may listen to this and say, "Well, we were the fourth ranked defense. How can we improve?" Well, there were a lot of areas that we were deficient in on the defensive side of the ball. So I do think there's a lot of
right?
room for improvement. Okay, because
Definitely.
we were last in sacks. Okay, we had the most missed tackles out of anybody in the NFL. Okay, as far as pressure to go, pressure percentage, we were last. QB hits, knockdowns, we were last or near the bottom in that. So what that tells me is they've got to figure out a way to get more pressure on the opposing quarterback. Now, does a completely healthy roster as far as the defensive side of the ball, does that help? I hope it does. But I'm pretty sure
Right.
that they'll be coming back this season looking to add some new pieces and fit some new players into the scheme. Okay. But I am intrigued to see what's going on. And what I was going to get into next is I think the biggest question, about him coming back is he going to have Brian Burns? Okay.
Yeah, now that's a big if.
Yeah.
That's
And I
that's
mean, we'll probably do another video later, going in detail about that. But, just kind of skimming over the subject. What do you think we should do with Brian Burns, or how do you see this playing out?
I'm I don't even want to act like I got a crystal ball on this situation. This is one of those moments where you accidentally knock the crystal ball off the table and the bust and shatter into pieces. So therefore, you ain't got to make no predictions. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but
Oh yeah.
it's 50-50, man. It's 50-50 for for the reasons that you just stated, needing more pressure on the QB, needing up the sack production and things like that on the defensive line. Not only in that scenario will you need to bring Brian Burns back, but he needs a running mate. He needs a very solid running mate. Last year we thought James Houston was going to be that guy. That turned out to be a
Nope.
dud. Okay. Um DJ Johnson, of course, he's in his rookie year. He needs time to develop, to maximize his potential. That's a 2 or 3 year project. You know, with YGM, he showed a little bit last year, but not nearly enough to where you want to say, he's going to be, Brian Burns running mate on the other side. So I think they need to really upgrade that position. That's one position I feel like they need to upgrade in free agency. Okay. I think they really need to upgrade that position in free agency. On the other side, you can say, well, this is from the business side. From our understanding, he was wanting 28, close to $30 million a year. Scott Fitterer and the Panthers didn't want to pay that. Well, whatever the case may be, I'm just speculating here because it didn't get done. And this being his fifth year that he just played, the last year of his contract, he stayed at the end of the season. He didn't want to get hurt. He played kind of scared. So I guess that leads me to believe that validates everything that we said throughout the season because he looked like he wasn't himself. Okay. And some people will say, well, that's a bad idea to be one, to come out and say that you played scared because you were scared of getting hurt. But on the business side of it, that man is protecting his body. He is a commodity, because that's how the NFL execs look at him. They look at him as commodities, So if he were to get hurt, that would have dropped his value. He's trying to maximize his dollars. I understand it from a business standpoint. So that's something that the Panther organization is gonna have to wrestle with this offseason. I think Dan Morgan, by him being a former athlete, I don't know what his relationship is with Brian Burns. I hope that's a good one, and I think that's something that they're going to tackle. They're going to talk about because that's something that's something that has to get done, and you want to get it done sooner rather than later. So we all in wait and see mode. Okay, we all in wait and see mode, and I hope he's back, and I hope he's back to the Brian Burns of 2022, not 2023. Get the man his contract extension. Let him be comfortable. You got a book in. Now you need to add pieces along the defensive front. Derek Brown needs a running mate. Brian Burns needs a solid running mate on the other side.
Now, with that being said, okay, I know you were saying that he is protecting his investment, which it's his body, and he's protecting his
Right.
body. But do you think that affects his market value that he came out and said that? Should that have been one of those things he kind of kept close to his vest? and just kind of not told anybody about that. And maybe because to me, if I'm another team looking at it, especially with the season that he had, I'm not looking to pay him 28-30 million dollars, to come to my
Right.
organization. So do you think that helped or hurt him?
I think that hurt him because with these teams, they always looking to pay the least. Okay, it just like I wanted to use a different analogy, but I forgot that quick. When in football, especially football, because it's such a gladiator sport, such a contact sport, you don't do yourself any good anytime that you go out there and let teams, not only your team, but let teams know that you were playing scared. They will somehow, they ain't gonna come out and say it per se, but they can use that against you when it comes to contract negotiations, because one of the things they're gonna always say, well, are we sure we're gonna get 100% of him? You know what I'm saying? Is he all in? Is he all about football? Is he gonna play scared? Okay. So those things I am, in my opinion, I believe will play a factor in negotiations, even if he become a free agent or even if he stayed with the Panthers. I don't think he's going to get the 28 to 30 million that he won last year, not only for the simple fact of what he said, but his play as well. So now you got two negative things against you. Your play dropped off, your sacks dropped off. A lot of people look at Brian Burns as a one dimensional type player. He's better at sacking quarterbacks than he is at stopping the run. I don't fully agree with that. I think he can get better at at stopping the run, but a lot of people feel like he's just one dimensional when it comes to that. And then you come out on record, because it's public record, stating that you played scared because you didn't want to get injured. That's something that I think he should have 100% have kept to the vest, kept to himself. He shouldn't have put that out there, because now there's teams, and not only his own team, but the other 31 teams in the league that could potentially use that against you.
Okay, all right, I agree with that. I agree with that. Now, getting back to Evero. Now, the defensive side of the ball last season, it was good overall in yards per game. Okay, because we were ranked fourth in the league in yards per game, like 100 and I think it was 70 something yards per game. The
Yeah.
season for me had its peaks and valleys. As far as in the beginning of the year, we couldn't stop the run. Everybody just ran all over us for like the first 5 or 6 games. They got that under control, but the whole season we weren't really able to get much pressure on the quarterback. Like I said earlier, we last in QB pressure percentage, sacks, QB hits. So, do you think that if you can get a healthy roster plus some pieces that they may bring in draft free agency, do you think that do you think we'll be able to improve? Okay. Do you think that Evero will be able to put everything that he kind of built on as the season went last year? Can he put it together at the start and come out of the gates running? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that has a lot more I think that has a lot more to do with the player staying healthy than Evero in his scheme. I think Evero has a good scheme, but we were decimated by injuries early on, and it played throughout the whole season. When you talk about not having your number one corner for most of the season, I say again, Dante Jackson is Dante Jackson. You don't know what you're gonna get week to week on the field, even if he's going to be on the field. Okay, when you look at your defensive line, like I said, Brian Burns been needing. I mean, Derek Brown been needing a running mate for the longest. We know when we saw Matt Ioannidis stepped in. he did an okay job, but then he got hurt as usual, and he didn't play the full, play a full season. When we had Daquan Jones, he was, I guess you could say solid, but you would like to have seen better uh pass rushing ability. But that's not what Daquan Jones was. He was a run stuffer. Um, the safety position. Von Bell had injuries that he dealt with last year. Um Xavier Woods had injuries that he dealt with last year. Jeremy Chin barely played 25 or 20, maybe 20% of the defensive snaps throughout the whole year. So he was like a non-factor. So there were different there was a multitude of things that I believe kept the defense from being the type of defense that they could have been. And when you're talking about injuries, I just don't know because we haven't been injury free at key positions for a while. Derek Brown has been a mainstay on the defensive line. He needs help. Brian Burns has been a mainstay on the end, but he needs help. The corners have been pretty much non-existent. You know what I'm saying? Uh Safeties thought it was going to get better, but you haven't had the continuity in the safety position last year that we was thinking because both safeties older in age, getting up there in age, had different injuries, was in and out of the lineup. So you 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 hope that the defense can be infused with some younger talent. Definitely bringing in some free agents if possible to add depth, better depth pieces um, to the defense. Now, with the secondary, as far as the corners, we got better depth play from the corners than the actual starters last year. I can't tell you what job. I can't tell you how good of a job that I think Troy Hill did last year given the situation in
Facts.
in the cornerback room. You know what I'm saying? Troy Hill stepped up. I mean, Troy Hill showed you what we've been wanting consistently from the cornerback position. We wanted that dog, not only someone that can cover, but someone that can come up and run support and ain't afraid to lay that wood. Okay, so there's some pieces that they're gonna have to figure out. But that's why I said it's a good thing because the defensive side of the ball is coming back as far as the staff. They know what they need to improve on. They know what pieces they need to add. They have they have a very general idea, a very good idea of the defense that they had last year, how it turned out, and how to improve it. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say yes. With a healthy roster, I think they can improve on that. And Double O Kane, welcome to Two Fans in the Stands again this week. We appreciate you being here, along with Mr. Hunky
What's up,
Dory in the
Double O?
chat with us. And he said if our defense can just do their part, our defense was decent enough as is. Okay, and I do agree. I do agree. But me
But
personally,
he said a key word there. He said a key word there, decent.
our offense,
I
my bad.
don't
If
think
our
decent.
offense can just do their part, my bad. I said defense twice. If our offense can
Yeah,
just do their part, our defense was decent enough as is. Okay. Now, what I hope for Evero coming back is decent enough as is can turn into good. Okay. I want to
pretty
turn
good.
good, potentially great. Because, like I said, that fourth ranked defense was yards per game. And there were a lot of other stats that were glaring that, we need to improve on. We had the most missed tackles in the league, the least amount of sacks, the least amount of pressure percentage. But a lot of that I do think was part of, I'm sorry, a large part of that was due to a lot of the injuries that we had on defense. If we can get a full season out of JC Horn, if he can get out there and play every game, I'll take him missing one game, maybe two. But if we could get a whole season out of JC Horn, that's basically one side of the field, damn near locked down. Okay. If
I
we
agree.
can start to put a little bit more pressure on the QB. Okay, that does nothing. That does nothing but help our defensive backs out, cornerbacks and safeties. Okay, I don't know what the situation is with Shaq Thompson is going to be, but I know a lot of people don't like Shaq Thompson. They say he can kick rocks or whatever. But if he comes back and you put Louvu, back to what he was doing before, kind of coming off the edge every now and then, rushing the quarterback, getting to the quarterback. I think that will help. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that he learned enough from last year. Like I said, we have a healthy roster. They can start off this season, just hit the gate running and keep on going. It just don't stop. Okay. But you know, it all depends on everybody's health, and it all depends on how it is at the first game of the season. Okay, but
Yeah.
I just hope that's the way it plays out. Like I really do. Like I'm rooting for Evero. I'm glad we got him back. I'm rooting for him, and I just want this defense to be, for me, fourth ranked defense. But I want it to be fourth ranked defense across the board. I want them to be good
Right.
at stopping the run all season. I want them to get consistent pressure on the quarterback all season. We got killed on third downs all season long. And like Double O Kane said, our defense was enough as is. And yes, our offense definitely dropped the ball. The defense definitely did enough last year, but I hope that they can improve on it. Based on if we get everybody back. And with that being
Right.
said, too, kind of going back to Brian Burns. Okay, now his sack
Okay.
numbers weren't anything to really write home about. So do you think that his numbers dropping this past season, was it more so due to him, being injured a little bit this season, him playing apprehensively, or the scheme? Do you think it was Evero's scheme and the switch to the 3-4? Which one do you think
No,
kind of contribute to it the most?
I don't think it was a scheme because at Florida State, Brian Burns played in a similar scheme that Evero plays that he played in Carolina. So I think he was familiar. He has some familiarity with the scheme. I think it was more or less. Listen, I think the man in a lot of aspects did the right thing by protecting himself. I just hated that he came out publicly and said that's what he was doing. That's not a good look. That is not a good look. I don't care who you are, what your status is in the league. You don't ever come out and let it be known publicly that you were playing scared. That's just not a good look. Okay. I think that the way that Scott Fitterer and the front office, the Panthers, handle his contract negotiations, not getting him an extension or signing him to a long term deal, really played a part in his production last year. It can play with your mental, so it can play with your mind because from his point of view, if you go out there and give it his all, this is the last year of his contract. Okay, last year of his contract, he trying to get that, trying to get that major bag. He trying to secure the major bag. Okay, if you go out there and give it his all and get hurt, Carolina wasn't going to sign him. Just say he got hurt in the elbow injury that he suffered last year would have put him off for the rest of the season. Believe it or not, even though he's a hometown favorite, everybody loved Brian Burns. They would have used that against him when it came to contract negotiations, because at the end of the day, it's a business. He trying to get the most he can. They not trying. They trying to pay him the least they can. And what you hope is that you find some happy medium in between. Now, with um, which way the balance tips, that really depends on the player. If you want 30 million and I'm trying to pay you 24 million, so the even balance somewhere in the middle is about 27 million. But okay, well, who's going to get that lean? Is it going to lean more towards the player, or is it going to lean back more towards the organization? Well, that's where your production comes in at. That's where your value where your true value comes in at, you know. And the thing that you said about and the thing that you said about the fourth ranked defense, and this is what I was saying throughout the season, and people kept saying, I was like, okay, we had the fourth ranked defense, but we was 31st in the league in points per game. So it doesn't even matter. You know, a football field is 100 yards from the 20 to the 20. To me, that's your chess match right there. From the 20 to the
Mm-hmm.
20. Everything else should be money or in the red zone. When we let teams get in the get in the money end of the end zone, they were scoring touchdowns. Not just kicking field goals, they were scoring touchdowns. So therefore we gave up what 26.5, 27 points a game, and our offense was only averaging 16. When that happens, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter what the defense did as far as yards per game and sacks and interceptions or what have you. We gave up the 31st, we were the 31st ranked defense in points per game. Now some people will say, well, Bryce gave so and so they he threw 3 or 4 pick sixes or whatnot. Okay, that's true. But even if you want to take those 6 or 7 points, you know, I say seven total because kick a field goal afterwards. So if you want to take those 21, 21, 28 points off the board, you still gonna average the same thing. That don't move the needle when you talking about what the defense gave up as a whole throughout the season, as far as points per game. We have to be able to stop teams once they get in the red zone. I don't remember the number, but our red zone efficiency was horrible. And you don't really have to. I don't really have to know the number to know that because look at the points per game that the defense gave up. And that was my key thing trying to tell people last year. Yes, true, we had a fourth ranked defense when it came to yards per game, but it was more than just that. At the end of the day, when you want to calculate and add everything up, at the end of the day, we gave up 26 and a half points per game, which was 31st in the league.
I'm sorry, Julius Peppers being inducted into the Hall of Fame just announced. Hey, go ahead, Julius. That's big news right
Shout
there.
out to
Hey,
our former Tar Heel from Nash County.
yes,
Yes.
sir. Big JP. All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, Tony.
Yeah,
Now
for
let me
real.
ask you this. Okay. So we have Brian Burns that we need to figure out something with his contract. Okay. We have Derek
Okay.
Brown, who in all, fairness, should get an extension this year. All right.
Right.
JC Horn, if I'm not mistaken, he's going into his fourth year of his contract.
Yeah, this would be JC Horn's fourth year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and then you also got Frankie Louvu. If I'm not mistaken, he should be due for an extension this year too, right?
Uh, I have to go and look at. I can't remember. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, my bad. I a little slightly underprepared with the numbers on the contracts. But now that we have Brant Tillis that came over from the Chiefs, okay, do you believe that he can work his magic contract wise and get all these players signed? Do you think we have enough space to sign the players that we have, extend those who are eligible for extensions, and potentially bring in, some more players? Because like you said, I'm not Derek Brown, Brian Burns needs a running mate. And I don't think there's anybody currently on this roster that can, sit on the other side of the ball, that other edge spot, and really help him out. Everybody is waiting on YGM to, magically do something. I don't see it happening. Barno, um,
I'm
Johnson,
disappointed, Barno.
I am too. You would thought that well, and I think that's a combination of time on the field, snaps, and all that stuff as well. But Barno hasn't really showed much. Um, Johnson. I know he was a rookie last year, but hell, he barely got on the field. But do you think that Brant Tillis can work his magic? Because we're just talking about everyone on the defensive side of the ball. Well, there's a whole lot of crap on the offensive side of the ball that I'm sure that they're going to attempt to fix. And and the priority would seem like it would be the offensive side of the ball right now. But so, do you think that we're going to have enough cap space to potentially do what we need to do on the defensive side of the ball?
Um, right now, because I'm looking at Spot right now, we have estimated cap space $31 million. So I'm pretty sure Brent Tillis one is going to go in and he's going to work his magic. Um, I believe, like I said, there are players who are in their 4th year contract extension that's going to help that cap number that probably won't be back this year. Like CJ Henderson, he more than likely won't be back
Gone,
this
gone.
year. Yeah, so that's going to help you when it comes to the cap. Like we said, we don't know what's going to happen with the Brian Burns situation. DJ Chark. I don't think DJ Chark could be back next year. That's estimated cap value was I think 11 million. It says so. Those are things that's going to come off the board. So, like I said, there are going to be players that Panther fans like wish that they would bring back or hope that they come back, but they're not going to be back for cap reasons. And you're always looking to upgrade your roster. It's not about being the fan favorite, playing the fan favorite because this is who the fans want. No, does what value does this person bring to the organization, and can we upgrade that value? That's the business side of it. That's the reality of it. Okay, just because we like Frankie Louvu, if they feel like Frankie Louvu value is not that important, or they can do better, then Frankie Louvu is going to be gone. Now I don't agree with that assessment. I think Frankie Louvu can um can help the team, but I'm just using that as an example. So I think with Brent Tillis, they know that they only have 6 draft picks right now in the draft. So I think they're going to try to create as much cap space needed to bring in some quality pieces on along the defensive front and the offensive side of the ball. I read I read an article yesterday on Twitter that someone posted. They was like, don't be surprised if Carolina doesn't invest in the offensive line this offseason, as some people may say, because they pointed out that you do have Austin Corbett and Brady Christensen coming back this year. So the two positions that was decimated by injuries was the left guard and the right guard. Well, you bring those two back. I know Austin Corbett came back from the ACL injury and then sprained I think he sprained or tore they didn't say what he tore or sprained his MCL, but I know he had an MCL injury that kept him out the remaining part of the season. Yeah, I think I said that right. But anyway, I think when you bring those two back, that brings back some stability along the offensive line. And that maybe can help Bradley Bozeman out in the middle because he has some familiarity with playing with those guys on either side of him. And it may allow him to play a little bit more comfortable like he did in 2022. Because to be honest, 2023 wasn't a great year for Bradley Bozeman. He didn't look good out there, and I think it wasn't I think along with the scheme, I think not having those two on the line and them trying to make up for some of the deficiencies that these backups had, I think it made his play suffer a lot, especially in that middle.
Okay. I agree. So what you're saying is, we get back to defense here. So what you're saying is, there's going to be a lot of tough decisions coming up on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Now, do you think there's somebody in the draft? I know we got Johnson last year. Do you think there's somebody in the draft worth picking up at 33, as far as maybe like a running mate for Brian Burns, or do you see somebody in free agency that they may be able to pick, or which route should they go? Because like I said, I don't think there's anybody currently on the roster that can help Brian Burns out the way that we all want, or unless they figure something out in this off season, or find out something that we didn't know, something just
Hmm.
magically pops up and they're like, oh, okay, well, we missed this last year. Let's go ahead and do this, you know. So, and I'm hoping that Dan Morgan, um, this year, because everybody's saying, does this draft have to hit 100%, for Dan Morgan to start off, or be successful, and not keep on the same old thing going with us in our draft. And there's been a lot of opinion, but I kind of do. Like I really think he needs to hit this draft. I think it needs to be. I ain't gonna say perfect, but it's got to be damn near close. You know what I mean? So do
Okay.
do you think, what do you think the help might come from on the defensive side of the ball? As far as like Brian Burns, do you think I don't think there's anybody currently on the team that's going to help him out much. Do you disagree with that? Agree with that, or do you think that them likely go free agency route to find somebody?
Well, as far as pertaining to current players on the roster, I don't think there's I don't think there's much help on the defensive end from the defensive end position on the team currently. I mean, because proof is in the pudding. You are what you put on tape. There's just no way around that. You are what you put on tape, and what those guys put on tape last year wasn't good. And it's crazy to say that because even with Brian Burns having a down year, even Brian Burns not giving 100%, he was still our best defensive end. Derrick Brown was the best defensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? He was the best player up front,
Facts.
period. But as far as the defensive ends, he still had 8 sacks. I don't think we had a defensive end last year outside of Brian Burns to have more than three. If I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and look at those stats. And as far as what's out there, I haven't looked yet. I haven't started looking yet because I wanted to wait till after the Super Bowl. I wanted when players are able to become free agents. When current players in college, we don't know who's going to declare, who's going to go back for for another season of college. So I haven't really dipped into that yet because I want to see, I want the leaves to shake out before I you know start dipping into that and see as far as what's going to be available in the draft. But what I will say is I think everything is on the table right now. When you bringing in basically new key pieces in the organization, we talking about from the general manager to the head coach to the salary cap specialist or whatnot. Those guys aren't, in my opinion, I don't think they're just going to stick with the norm. I don't think they're going to just continue doing the things that Carolina has been doing. I think these guys are going to come in with fresh new ideas. They're going to look at the total landscape of the roster and they're going to break it down piece by piece, position by position. And my hope is, which I'm pretty sure they will do, is make the best decision available going forward for the organization. Now, where those decisions lie, I have no idea. I just wanted to see at the end of the day that we put a good product out there on the field and it equates to wins. That's all that matters to me.
Okay, I can definitely agree with that. Definitely, definitely. Okay, now I wanted to switch gears just a tad bit. on our next subject here, and this is gonna be a quick live tonight, folks. We just wanted to get on here and talk about a couple things that will ever coming back. But the next topic that I want to talk about, um, is it is he still an offensive coordinator? Because there was a lot of articles that said the Panthers had hired Brad Isaac as the offensive coordinator. He was coming over from Tampa Bay with Canales, but I haven't seen anything at all on the Panthers website about this man being our offensive coordinator. It's on Wikipedia.
Right.
It's on everything else that you look at. Um, but when you go to the Panthers website and when you go to coaches, there are four coaches on the offensive side of the ball. You have it was Harold Goodwin, uh, Bernie Parmalee, Rob Moore, and Joe Gilbert. Okay, and that is the assistant head
Right.
coach and the running game coordinator, the running backs coach, the wide receiver coach, and the offensive line coach. Okay, I still have yet to see anything about Isaac. Okay, so do you think it's just like a negotiating setback, or what do you think is going on with this?
I have no idea. Because I've never seen this before. I've never seen where a team has announced a coach, especially at the offensive or defense coordinator or even the head coach position, have announced the hiring, and everywhere else has announced the hiring, but you don't see said coach on the team website, and that a coordinator hasn't been announced or haven't had a press conference. One thing I know for sure, he ain't with Tampa Bay no more because Tampa Bay has signed Liam Cohen. Okay, Liam
Exactly.
Cohen
Yeah.
is the new offense coordinator in Tampa Bay and has already had a press conference introduction and everything. So I'm looking here on the website. I mean, on the internet, and Brad Isaac everywhere said that he's the offense coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, but it says it everywhere except like you mentioned on the Panthers website, and we haven't had no formal introduction, press conference, anything about Brad Isaac. We haven't heard anything about it whatsoever. So I don't know. I don't know, CJ. That one there leaves me scratching my head a little bit. I think somebody or somebody somewhere put something out, say it was contract. There was a hold up. There was a hold up because they was trying to agree on the money. I know how true that is. I don't know, but what we do know that there hasn't been no formal announcement. There hasn't been no formal announcement any more than what we have seen on the internet. So I just don't know. I can't answer that one.
Hey, now wouldn't it suck for this guy if this is still going on and they end up not agreeing on a deal and they end up going with another offensive coordinator? And the only reason I throw this out, and this is all speculation, and don't everybody come for me when I say this, because you do know that Eric Bieniemy is not the offensive coordinator in Washington anymore. So, he is out there looking for a job. Now I know Canales would be calling the plays, but, could you see a situation where if this doesn't work out and they don't get the money right and don't get the deal done, you think your enemy or somebody else might eventually be our offensive coordinator? Do you think that would be possible?
A slight possibility that could be somebody else. No possibility that would be Airbnb. You're not gonna you're
Oh,
not
word.
gonna come in. Yeah, Airbnb is not going to come in and give a play calling duties. He's not going to do it. He's too established as a offense coordinator. For one, I think Airbnb made the major mistake by leaving Kansas City. Now I understand why he left Kansas
Agreed.
City, but going to Washington, that was not the move. You left Kansas City to go to an organization that was unstable at the time, who head coach was pretty much on the hot seat. Now that coach got fired, you're gone. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, the offense for Washington last year kind of digressed from the year before. Now, we both Tar Heel fans. We love we love ourselves some Carolina, and I love Sam Howell when he was at Carolina. But
Facts.
the biggest thing that I felt that was going to hinder Sam Howell in the NFL was he liked to hold on to the ball too long, and he likes to run. He will stay in the pocket and get lit up. Well, that's in college. You do that in NFL, you're gonna have a very short career because they will light your ass up on a more consistent basis, and it's probably gonna hurt a little more. And an NFL coach ain't gonna probably last long if you back to taking shots and taking hits like that. So I think Sam Howell has played himself out of a starting position. I think Airbnb hindered himself out of a coaching position, not only because of that, but I also think that the narrative, the negativity around him as a coach. They said that he's not a player's, he don't get along with the players. He's more like a drill sergeant than anything. All these negative things that's out there. Now I don't know if that's true or not, because I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so I don't follow them. But that's what's being said. So if that's true, and if that's what has stopped him from getting look at a head coach position, because you think about it, you look at how many new head coaches got positions this year, and every enemy, to my knowledge, didn't get not one interview. Now that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. He did not get not one interview. So
But it's been that way
I,
for the
I, I
last
don't,
few years. I don't think he got an interview last year either.
for head coaching position.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably no, you're probably right, because I think the talk then was the fact that they tried the excuse that they tried to use was saying that, well, yeah, he came from Kansas City, but Andy Reid called the plays. And I think that's what led him to want to leave Kansas City and show that he can do this without Andy Reid. I just think him going to Washington was not the right choice.
I
That
agree with that.
you shouldn't have went to Washington to try to prove a point. That was a no go. That move was not good.
Agree. Agree. Well, I hope that they can, go ahead and get this thing settled and done and make some type of announcement soon as far as Brad Isaac. I don't know if anybody that's watching, if you know anything or have heard anything differently than the rest of us, hey, let us know. Put comment in the
Yeah,
chat.
let us know in the
Um,
comments.
After the video, if you find something out, just hit us up. But I just find it odd. I just find it odd. This has been what, maybe like almost 2 weeks now, and like I said, it was running on the news, on the sports channels, all in the on social media, Panthers Wire, ESPN, everything. Brad Isaac, offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. He's following Dave Canales from Tampa Bay. But like I said, there has been nothing, and I mean nothing on the Panthers website that has mentioned this man at all. Not a whisper of anything. So it's yet to be
Right.
seen. And like you said, I hope it's just something as simple. Well, not gonna say simple, but I just hope it's something that where they're just negotiating his contract, and they're working on how much they gonna pay him. So, but we're just gonna have to see. All right. So, but like I
Yeah.
said, y'all, this is gonna be a short live tonight, and we just wanted to get on here and talk about a couple topics, a couple things. One thing that's happened, and in the Isaac situation is that's really been on my mind for about the last week. Because, like I said, I've been on there every day looking to see if the Panthers say anything about this guy, and they have yet to say anything yet. So, I just find that they hired four offensive coaches, and still no offensive coordinator. So,
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like, I remember last week, a few people have posted, well, why didn't Brant Tillis have a press conference? Because typically the salary cap specialists don't have press conference. Okay, so so
Facts.
Samir Suleiman didn't have a press conference when he got hired. So
Yeah.
those guys are typically behind the scenes, out of the way. They, there's no reason that we need to hear from them. So those are your numbers guy. You don't need to hear from them. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he was there at Morgan and Canales introductory press conference. You know, he got up on stage and
right.
took a picture with him afterwards and everything. And Dan Morgan was like, "Hey man, I can't wait to pass these contracts, especially these coaches contracts, over to him." So
And, and
hopefully
when he
Isaac is the
said
first
that,
one.
yeah, and when he said that, that led me to believe that what was out there may have some validity to it as far as not having a contract situation in order for Brad Isaac. But it's
Yeah,
been over a week now. You think something would have shaped by now. Everybody
something.
knows what offensive coordinators, especially first year offensive coordinators, are making around the league. So I don't think that's a hard number to come to. And for the fact that what you pay coaches don't affect your salary cap. So I don't whether they gave him 500,000 or 5 million. I think David Tepper can handle it, whatever he needs. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just hope we hear something soon on that end.
Okay. I am in agreement with you. I hope we do hear something soon on that as well. But all right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here tonight. We appreciate everybody that joined us, everybody in the chat. Okay, we are still on our way to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. We are currently at 917. And if you're listening right now, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, like and follow us
Oh,
on all social media. Go ahead, Tom.
hold on. You want to go through some of these questions in the chat real quick?
All right, go ahead, bring them up.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Mr. Hunky Dory said, I always thought you do the job you are being paid for and do so honestly. So he is or was dishonest purposely. I can't blame him, but he hurt himself by not getting high numbers. Talking about
Brian
Brian
Burns.
Burns. And
Hmm.
I agree, Mr. Hunky Dory, that you know you are paid for an honest day's work, but we know in the world of sports, entertainment, whatever, your value or what you think of yourself is always higher than what your true value is. Follow me? So what I'm saying is nobody's gonna ever pay you what you feel like you are really worth. Because what you think you may be worth, the industry don't think that. So that's like what I was saying about Brian Burns. Brian Burns can feel like he's worth $30 million. He can say all day long that he wants to get paid like the Nick Bosa's and the Khalil Macks and the TJ Watts. But what does the league as a whole think Brian Burns' value is? Because that's going to be the ultimate litmus test, if you will, when it comes to his contract negotiation. So what you think is one thing, and what they're willing to pay according to their value of you is another. And like I said, when he came out and made that statement, that hurt him. No team wants to hear that you play scared, even if they know it, even if they know it, okay, or even if they can see it. For you to come out and say that's public record now. That's public record, and I don't think he did himself any service by saying that. There was no need. I don't care who asked the question. That there was no need to say that.
Yeah,
Let's see.
because my thing is, if he would have just stood pat with how he felt, and just say he had the same season, that he had, but not him coming out into the season and saying that, okay, you could have had some other teams who was like, all right, bet. Well, if the Panthers, are not going to do anything with you, if they're not going to give you the money you want, or maybe situation where we don't even franchise tag him or whatnot. You got somebody, another team over there that's like, okay, they waiting in the bushes. They're like, all right, we're gonna let all this play out. Panthers are dumb. They not gonna sign him. We gonna sign him. We gonna sign him. We gonna give him this money, and we know we got the scheme and the personnel. And we gonna make this guy shine. So yeah,
Yeah, and it very well could be a team out there that thinks like that. It very well could be. You know,
and it still could. It still could.
yeah, yeah. He could have hedged. He could have hedged his bet. Like they say, bet on yourself. It is a business at the end of the day. I think Brian Burns was as loyal to the Carolina Panthers as he could have been. I just think they dropped the ball, meaning Scott Fitterer and the front office dropped the ball
They
by
did.
not getting him signed to a contract extension last year. So
Facts.
I think they did a disservice to him from that point, but I think he also did a disservice to himself with that comment at the end of the year. Okay, let's see. Double O Kane said, I really don't care about high profile names anymore. I just want $53. Or like my son said, we need 53 Derrick Browns. Now that's facts on facts right there. If we had 53 Derrick Browns, ooh, woo. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah,
not physically 53 Derrick Browns. Now, I guess if we had 53 Derrick Browns as far as his drive and his
that
mentality is,
mentality.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm pretty
yeah.
sure he wasn't talking about physically.
Look,
You know
I
what
don't
I'm
need Derrick
saying?
Brown out there playing cornerback
Yeah,
nor a wide receiver.
yeah. But yeah, I agree with you, man. We our roster hasn't had the influx of top tier talent in a while. If you think about it, in the past 5 years, when you look defensively on our defense side of the ball, there's only like three top tier players that got drafted: J.C. Horn, Derrick Brown. I had a third person just now. J.C. Horn, Derrick Brown, and Brian Burns. Those really the only three that, as far as top tier in the past 5 years that the Panthers have drafted on the defense side of the ball. That's it. That's it. Three out of
Yep.
11 out of your start 11. That's not enough in today's NFL, especially if you want to be a consistent playoff team, have a consistent winning record, and hopes of one day going back to the Super Bowl. You know, you just can't do it. Just not going to be able to do it.
Yep. I
What
agree.
else we have here? Mr. Hunky Door said the fourth ranked defense on paper. I thought maybe 12th ranked, which is good. But as you said, we got some issues in key areas. Sometimes lack of hustle and effort got us. Also, player out of position. That's true. There was a lot of times where um players playing out of position, and that goes, in my opinion, that goes to not trusting your teammate to be where he needs to be, so you feel the need to try to make the play. Just play your position. If you supposed to be in the B gap and your mate is supposed to have the A gap, let him have the A gap. Don't you go in the A gap and leave the B gap open, so now you done left a wide open running lane. It makes no sense. Or, on a stretch zone, you're the backside linebacker, but hell, you don't overran the front side linebacker. Now the running back then he got a cutback lane, and now you done got blocked because now the the um the the crowd for as you would want to say that the crowd has caught up to you, so now you can't get back to make a play. I think it's imperative that's why on defense is so important that you play your position. You play wherever you're supposed to be there. It's not up to you to decide whether your teammate is going to play his position. That's not your responsibility. Then they talk about being one of 11. You need to be that one of 11, not two of 11, one of 11. I mean, do your job. Do your job, and whoever don't do their job, that's on them. But when you trying to compensate for somebody else's job, now your job is left unattended. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, CJ? You know,
Oh
if
yeah, I
we
got
both
you.
if we
You're right.
both yeah, we both on the assembly line, I'm messing up. Okay, well, I need just let me mess up. Don't come over and try to help me fix my situation. Now your situation is left unattended. You know what I'm saying? So now we really got two
Yeah,
problems. So
yeah.
I think that's what was happening last year a lot of times with the defense, playing out of position, trying to do too much instead of playing complementary football.
Right.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Hunkadur said double dogs hustle, hit, and give effort on all plays. I agree. We need them dogs, Mr. Hunkadur said. Let's see. We already did that one. Mr. Hunkadur said points start at 40-yard line. We got 8 up after teams got past the 40-yard line. Mm, well, I, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm about to
if
say
you want,
that's a
it
yeah.
well,
Just think about it.
so when I
Think about it. How many teams got across the 50-yard line, crossed the 40, got down in the red zone and didn't score on us, whether it was a touchdown or a field goal. Now, mind you, we didn't give up those type of drives, you know, every single drive. But if they cross midfield, for the most part, they got a field goal.
okay, but the thing is, the logic to most defenses, they rather give up 3 than give up 7. So if you want to
Hmm.
talk about, you know, field goals to touchdowns, I'd rather give up 3 than give up 7. Because if I give up 4 touchdowns and an extra point, that's 28. But if I give up 3 field goals, that's only 12. I take I take my chances with the field goals to saying then I take my chances with field goals over touchdowns. And I say from the 40, that's because the red zone is from the 20-yard lines and in, from the
Hmm.
20 in. And I
Hmm.
think that's where we hurt ourselves last year is in the red zone efficiency. I can't remember exactly what the numbers were, but we ranked at the bottom in red zone efficiency last year because whenever we allowed teams to get within the 20-yard line or in, we were giving up touchdowns and not holding them to field goals. That was our Achilles heel last year when teams got into the red zone. We were giving up touchdowns and not holding them to field goals. From the 40-yard line, it's not really a give me because even if you held a team and stopped the team at the 40 or say the 35, that's still, 52 to a 57-yard field goal. Okay. That's not a give me. That's not a give me by any stretch. But when you talk about from the 20-yard line in, yeah, that's a give me when it comes to field goal, but it's even worse when you're giving up touchdowns. So
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I just think Mr. Hunky Dory was just kind of using the 40 as a reference point. I mean,
right.
when you to get to the 20, I mean, hey, you got to cross the 40, got to get past the 40. I mean, I get what he's saying. I definitely get what he's
Yeah.
saying. Teams got cross midfield, and it was just downhill from there for the most part. Now the defense,
Right.
they did stop a lot of teams, forced a lot of punts on the other side of the field, but rarely, and I might be wrong. If anybody out there can tell me otherwise, please tell me. But when teams crossed over midfield, they're more than likely going to score. I think that's
Yeah.
what he was getting at. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the next one is From Mr. Hunky Dory. That is awesome. JP and family are nice people. Yeah, he is star, but in real life, he is an awesome person. Talking about Julius Peppers being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Mr. Hunky Dory, to keep in mind, we resigning, free agent signing, and drafting for a 3-year bill. We have to think money and need. Need first, amount of money for value over time of bill, if I make any sense. Yeah, I guess the overall point that he was making was that I take from it that it's going to be a 3-year bill, and I said that a few weeks back that this is going to be a 2 to 3 year rebuild. Now nobody they're not going to come out and really say that it's going to be a rebuild, but all you have to do is just look at the decisions that were made as far as coaching staff, front office staff, things like that, and look at the decisions that are being made once they start being made this off season. Okay, if you have a lot of players that's not being retained, and we go out in free agency and sign a lot of players, yeah, you can say technically it's a rebuild, and to me, there's nothing wrong with it. Like when you haven't been good for so long, at some point in time, you need to tear the house down to the foundation, to the studs, what have you, and just build anew. Because currently, what you have is not good enough, right? It's not getting you the kind of results that you want. And it's not getting you to where you feel like the team needs to go or should go. Well, when that happens, you need to start changing some pieces around. You need to start moving some pieces around on the chessboard. Some pieces have to be sacrificed in order for you to move forward. That's just the name of the game. You can't keep doing the same thing with the same people year in and year out and think you're going to get different results. It don't work like that. So, Mr. Hunkador also said Jackson Powers Johnson, Oregon draft defense comes from free agency. Yeah. I think Jackson Powers Johnson is a good offensive lineman. I think he's rated the number one interior offensive lineman, but I also like Brandon Beebe, too, out of Kansas State. You know that now he's what Dave Gettleman would call definitely a hog molly. You know, he's strong at a point of attack, good feet, definitely a bull in the run game, but also he's really good in pass protection too, and he could play center. So he definitely has some versatility up front from playing from being able to play either guard position or center. So I do like Brandon Beebe out of Jackson State, but we'll get more into the draft eligible players here in the coming weeks. Mr. Hunky Dory also said, "I got a question. I think we're going mainly offensive pieces. What's the minimum amount of defensive players do we need just to be good next year?" Huh. I would say I don't know. I don't know. What I would say is that we need to up the talent level on the defense side of the ball. I think talent plays a major part in what you're capable of doing and what you can do. And when you look throughout the league to these other teams, they have talent on every level, on the defense and offensive side of the ball. Kansas City has it offensively and defensively. San Francisco definitely has it offensively and defensively. Detroit had it offensively and defensively. Uh who else? Baltimore had it offensively and defensively. All these teams that are consistently in playoff contention, having winning records year in and year out, have top tier talent throughout the whole, throughout the whole team on both sides of the ball. We don't have that. We tend to have we tend to pick up pieces from other teams that other teams don't want anymore, and we try to breathe life back into said player. Okay, again, has how has that worked out for us in the past 4 or 5 years? So if that hasn't worked out for us, then we need to change up and do something different. And I'm hoping with Dan Morgan in position now, Dave Canales, those guys can come together and say, okay, we need some fresh blood. We need to up the talent level. We need to get them dogs, and they go out and get them. So that's my thinking. All right, what you got, CJ?
I agree. I think first it starts on the defensive line. Um, we definitely need another edge, and we Brian, I'm sorry, Brian. Derek Brown may have found a decent running mate. What's the man named Nick Thurman. Now he did impress me down the stretch last year, and they did
Yeah,
re-sign
he
him at the
did.
end of the year. So you never know. That
Yes,
piece may already be in place, but adding depth to that position is never a bad thing. I do think we need to add some more depth at cornerback, quality depth, because, like you said, C.J. Henderson will probably be gone. Okay, and I wish him a happy farewell and wherever he goes. But I want him gone from Carolina. You know,
and I just want to say too, Shy Tuttle stole the church's money.
hey, sure
I was
did,
I was gonna
sure did.
say that.
Let me tell you, I expected a whole lot more from Shy Tuttle, a whole lot
Man,
more.
who you telling? Who you
Yeah,
telling? I think Deshaun Williams played better than Shy Tuttle this year. And he wasn't even the full-time starter. I think Deshaun Williams came on later in the later part of the year, and I think he showed flashes of what he could do. But even
mm,
with those flashes, they were better than Shy Tuttle. I was really, really, really disappointed in Shy Tuttle this year. I was. I was
yeah.
very
I
much
mean, from
disappointed.
from my perspective, he it was like he was just there. He was
Yeah,
just there. He might make a play, once here, once there, but to say that he had a true impact at his position, I never really saw it this past year. Now, you
I agree
know,
with you.
I wonder if a new season, and like I keep harping on, a healthy defensive side of the ball, maybe that'll change that. I don't know, but from what I saw this past
Yeah,
season, it's not too high for me.
it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Dig it, TBR. I'm on the Lad McConkey train. Hey, I was gonna save that one for something. I was gonna save that for a video because I see a lot of people on Twitter have been. First of all, a lot of people in Panther Nation have been screaming Troy Franklin, Troy Franklin, Troy Franklin. Well, Troy Franklin reminds me of DJ Chark. He's a speed guy. He don't have the best of hands, but he has good height. He's 6'4", about 200 pounds, but he's a speed guy. He does not run the full route tree that I think that you need to have in the NFL. It looked good in college. He could run by just about anybody on the college level. He's not going to be able to do that in the NFL. He's not a Tyreek Hill fast, but he's fast. But I love Lad McConkey. If anybody go back and watch Georgia highlights when he played for the Georgia University of Georgia the past 2 3 years, all Lad McConkey do is get open and catch touchdowns and move the chain. People can sleep on Lad McConkey if they want, but I'm here to tell you, just like people slept on Cooper Cup when he came out of the draft because he ran a 4.6, just like when they slept on Antonio Brown when he came out because he ran a 4.64 at the draft. But what they didn't know that this man is a technician. He's a route runner extraordinaire. He probably got the best hands in the draft as far as wide receivers, and he consistently gets open. And that's what you want. You want someone that can get open, that can run precise routes and can catch the ball, get upfield, and get some production. That's what Bryce Young needs. Bryce Young don't he has a strong arm, but he does not have a Josh Allen or CJ Stroud type of strong arm. That's not his game, throwing the ball downfield to Troy Franklin 5, 6 times a game. But what he can do, and he's deadly accurate at doing, is throwing the short to intermediate route to someone that he did this year in Adam Thielen, where you throw someone in there like Lad McConkey, who can take a short intermediate route and take it to the house, who can consistently get open and got very good hands, if not the best hands in the draft when it comes to the wide receiver position. I'm with you on that, dig it. I'm on the Lad McConkey train as well. So, hey, we'll see. I can't wait for the draft combine to see what he really runs in the 40. But what I do remember, I don't remember any time that he got ran down in college. I could be wrong, but I don't remember a time when he got ran down in college by anyone. What you think, CJ?
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I really didn't watch much of Lad McConkey this year at all, and I just kind of started hearing about him here lately. So I have to go back and watch the tape. But if he is as advertised as everybody say he is, I think that's perfect for Bryce. Like you said, he needs somebody that can run the route tree, got good hands, can get separation, get open, and get down the field. So I agree.
Yeah, yeah. When you get a chance, I know you will. When you get a chance, hey, just go look him up, man. Just go look him up. I know somebody said that he reminds them of Doug Baldwin. He reminds me more of a faster, quicker Cooper Cup. Now, he's not as polished because when it comes to route running, I don't think there's no one in the league that is above Cooper Cup when it comes to route running. But I would say on the collegiate level right now, coming out of college, the closest comparison to Cooper Cup when it comes to that would be Lad McConkey. And I think he's quicker than Cooper Cup. I think he has a little bit more speed. Because I know for sure he definitely is not a 4.6 type of guy. But he's tough. Boy got very good hands. And he just been the second or the first. He's just been the best wide receiver that Georgia has had the past 2 years. The second best on the team behind Brock Bowers. Okay. So if you know anything about Bowers, I mean he's been the truth ever since his freshman season at Georgia from a tight end position. But yeah, Lad McConkey, man, you gotta check him out.
Hey, well, look,
Let's see.
somebody will volunteer to come hang this and mud this drywall for me, and I can sit down and watch the tape.
Yeah, Mr. Hungador said Lad got the juke moves to break ankle, pure route running. I'm glad you brought his name up. Yeah, me too, Mr. Hungador. That's a sleeper that people are sleeping on. Let's see. Tuttle and Houston made me curse. PFF
He ain't gonna be
53,
a
I
sleeper for
think,
very long.
for both added together. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Mr. Hunky Tuttle and Houston, man, I'm telling you, they stole the church's money, especially Tuttle, because he was there all season. And there was high expectations once we drafted him in not drafted him, once we signed him out of free agency last year. I definitely had high hopes for him.
But now let's
Let's
not get it
see.
twisted. We had high hopes for Justin Houston too. Now I know he was
Yeah.
older, but I'm not going to sit here and act like we didn't do a whole video and got kind of excited because we signed Justin Houston. We thought he could be that other guy opposite of Brian Burns. We wouldn't expect him to put up 10, 12, 13 sacks, but we were damn sure expecting him to do more than he did. And he ended up getting
What
hurt. And when he came back, he eventually, where did he go, to Detroit? because he wanted to try and have a chance to get back to Super Bowl or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. I don't even remember him playing in any games. I definitely don't remember hearing his names in the
Yeah, I think
playoffs.
it's Detroit.
But
I remember. I
yeah,
think when they played oh God, to Tampa Bay. When Tampa Bay came up there for the divisional round. If I'm not mistaken, I heard his name called before that game. But yeah, but
okay,
we definitely got excited because Justin Houston was here, and that turned out to be a big old bag of nothing.
yeah, you're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that. Okay, so let's see. Miss Digger said the Panthers were veteran free agents come to die. You get no argument from me there. Get no argument from me there. Mr. Hunky Dory said, LOL, did we give them retirement checks?
Facts.
Facts. Facts. I would listen. That's facts. I'm not going to try to expand on that. Mr. Hunky Dory, you're absolutely right. We give them retirement checks. That's exactly what we do. All right, CJ. That was the last comment that we have in the comment section. So if you want to go ahead and take it on out, my boy.
You got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, man. Hey, I do have one question. What you who you got for the Super Bowl Sunday?
Man, I hope they both lose.
Well,
I'm tired of
unfortunately,
looking at the Chiefs. I'm tired of the Chiefs winning.
unfortunately,
You,
somebody got to win. So,
Look, I'm tired of the Chiefs winning. I'm still mad that we traded Christian McCaffrey for a bag of peanuts and a Pepsi. So like I said, I hope both of them lose. But real talk though, Kansas City is going to win. Go ahead and mark it down. Kansas City is going to win.
I'm going. I'm looking for San Francisco to pull the upset. I'm looking
Ain't
for
gonna
San
happen,
Francisco
dog.
to pull the upset. Yeah. Well, we're
Ain't
gonna
gonna
see.
happen.
We're definitely going to see.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Dig said me too. Mr. Hungry Doris says it is time, sleep, get up, work, and repeat. God bless 49ers by two hot wings and seven
Seven
layer
layer
dip.
dip.
Right.
I know that's
All
right.
right, man. Go on, take us out of here. That was it.
Okay. All right, everybody. Like I said, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like and follow us on all social media. We are at 917 subscribers, so we are steadily approaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us. Turn those post notification
Yes.
bells so you know when our videos come out. Okay. All right. And we thank everybody that already has for all the love and support. I'm going to take you out like I always do. I got three things for you. Number one, be good. Number two, be safe. And number three, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, y'all.